Easy people, welcome back to my channel at Big Steve MCFC. FA Cup holders, Manchester City. We thought it's going to be one of them seasons again. Can see us going all the way to the final, winning the FA Cup, no problem. And then it comes the draw. Tottenham Hotspur will play Manchester City. Every Manchester City fan just slumped in the chair and thought, oh my God, of all the fucking draws, Tottenham away, we never score, we never win, we turn into Forest Green, when we got a Tottenham, someone like that. So no one better to talk about the game than my Tottenham mate, Toby. How are you doing, pal?
I'm good, man. It's been a long time since I've been on your channel, man. But I'm glad that we're speaking under better circumstances, because I'm sure the last time we spoke, I was probably depressed about Spurs, probably very, very pessimistic about this team. I didn't really like the team. Now I really like the team, and now I'm actually looking forward to playing Man City in the Cup, because you know me, when it comes to Man City, I'm always pessimistic. But with this one, I'm actually positive. I'm positive. And I'm actually ready for the challenge, which is crazy to say, but here we are.
Yeah, I don't think I like this positive attitude. I did a preview of expressions, and usually expressions is pretty we're going to get levered. But he's even more confident than you. So I'm getting a bit worried about it. But maybe this is reverse psychology, because every time you guys have been not confident, you've wiped the floor with us. So maybe if you're a bit confident this time, I think maybe City can end the hoodoo and get a result. You never know, do you? But listen, Toby, season so far, Tottenham, new manager. I know you had your reservations about him. Harry Kane left. Obviously, looking now, it doesn't look like a bad situation at Spurs. It looks like on the right path going forward.
No, definitely, man, definitely. And it's mad, because I think Hugh called it back in April, or when we were talking about it. And I definitely had my reservations, not because he was he couldn't manage. I did some research, and he did really well at Celtic, but it was just more how quickly you could sort of convert what you're doing in the Scottish League, which is a significantly weaker league in terms of quality, to the Prem, in terms of style of play, adherence to what he wants, and getting the players to buy into that, etc., etc. But he's been fantastic, man. And I think you even alluded to something of the sort, even when we had when you were on the Big Six, on one or two episodes last season, where it was like, we probably just need to rip it up, reset, get a manager who's going to be in it for the long haul, actually wants to be at the club. And I think credit to the club, even though it took them a couple of rejections to get to Ange Postecoglou, ultimately I have to give them credit for getting him at the club, because it's like he's been such a big breath of fresh air for us. And I feel like not just him, but even just the style of play he plays, and the players that we've been able to bring through, either in the summer, or players that we signed before that we weren't playing, or players that we signed before that we couldn't have because they were on loan elsewhere. He's been able to sort of knit together what looks like a good team at this point in time. And most importantly, he's playing a style that everyone can get behind. And I feel like, to a certain extent, he's united the fan base, which has been, I think that's been one of the biggest things that have been a problem for Spurs, because we've never really had a manager since Pochettino that every single fan to a T can be like, yeah, I'm on board with this. Jose, there was division. Nuno, there was division. Even Conte, when he got top four, I was calm with Conte, but a lot of people didn't want Conte at the club. And we all know what happened the following season. So I feel like Ange Postecoglou is probably the first manager, since Poch, where fans were willing to give him a chance once he came through. And now, because of how well he's done, fans are united and believe that this is a guy that's going to take him forward. So it's been really good for Spurs. I'll be raw, it's been really, really good. And it's mad that 9 months ago, we were so depressed about the team, Harry Kane on his way out and stuff. Harry Kane is not at the club. Our best ever player in the Prem is not at the club, and there's so much optimism with the team. And I think you have to give big credit down to the manager that we brought through. So yes, it's looking good. It's looking good, I must say.
I think he's a good guy. I think he brings a breath of fresh air to the Premier League. I've listened to his press conferences. He's open, he's honest. It's quite refreshing to see. I did pre-season at the at City's academy. The lads was on tour in Tokyo, and we was in the studio back in Manchester, and they were bouncing back to us and that. And I was talking to a couple of the academy guys there, and they said that while he was at Yokohama Marinos, which is a City group club, they had some sort of like training program where they get the managers of the City football group together at Manchester, and they go over things and that. And they said that when he came here to the Etihad to do these little talks and that, everyone was so impressed with him and that. So I knew he's quite highly regarded in the game. But looking at Spurs from outside, it does seem a lot calmer there. I remember doing shows with you only a couple of years ago where the whole squad, we looked through the squad, and the players that you had still playing and earning a living for you were a joke. And I thought at the time, it's going to be hard for anybody to come in and sort of get rid of all that deadwood, as we call it. But he seems to have done that. You know he knows the Middle East, the Asian market quite well. At Celtic, he was bringing players through we never heard of who turned out great players. But the FA Cup, I mean, we laugh about Tottenham and trophies. We have done for years on the Big Six.
Costa del Sol trophy.
Costa del Sol trophy, you know, all the banter aside, Audi Cups and that. But listen, Man City, Tottenham record is poor. We've never scored there since it's been redeveloped. We've never won there. If you can get past Manchester City, could it be Tottenham's year?
This is what I'm thinking. I feel like if we beat Man City, why can't we believe that we can win the FA Cup? Because it's like you guys are the holders, right? You guys have won. You and I think maybe Arsenal in the last like 7 or 8 years have won the competition the most. If we beat you, we're beating the best side in the country. Like if we can beat the best side in the country in this cup competition, then if that doesn't give us belief that we can go on and win this, then I don't know what else we need, man. Because we've got a manager who wants to win the competition. We've got a team that are buying into his way of playing. We've shown that we have the capacity to actually play football that's good enough to beat the likes of Man City, even though we haven't done so this season. So if we were to go one step further and do it, honestly, like I feel like that should be the biggest fear. Man City are the best team in the land. If you beat the best team in the land, then in theory, you should not fear the rest of the teams you come up against. Obviously, within reason. Like if we were to get drawn to Liverpool at Anfield, I would still be scared. But fundamentally speaking, you beat Man City, I feel like that should give us the biggest belief possible that we can actually go all the way and win this cup competition. And it's been something that's actually been a frustration for Spurs fans. Like it's not even just that like we're not winning these cup competitions, but especially in the last like 3 years or 3 or 4 years, it's the manner in which we've gone out. Last year we get bounced out of the competition by a second string Sheffield United side. The year before that we're losing to Middlesbrough in the 4th round or something like that. The year before that, I think it was Everton. We lose 5-4. They got injury-ravaged team. The year before that, we're getting bounced by Norwich at home. Like, it's just not acceptable. So, like, no one's going to kill Ange Postecoglou if he doesn't win this cup competition. However, we will be annoyed and disappointed if Spurs don't put everything into this and go all the way, or try and go all the way, sorry.
There's a bit of a problem, though. I think Tottenham fans need to realise that 9,000 fans coming from Manchester, the army in the north, Game of Thrones, were marching. And we've got our dragon, Kevin De Bruyne. He's fit, he's refreshed. He's back, mate. Looking at the Newcastle game, he came on the pitch and he thought, you know what? I'll play this game my way. This is my game. You play at my tempo, and I'm going to sort it out. And he won it for us. And like you say, Tottenham concede a few goals with a high line. City concede a few goals. Kevin De Bruyne's back. I can see goals in this game. I can see it back being a bit of a shootout near the end. And I think it's, Jeremy Doku's back. He loves the high line. Maddison's back for you. All I can see is goals in it. And do you know what? I'm looking forward to actually going. I said I won't go to the league game because we'll get beat. But the cup game is different. 9K fans, Friday night. Just still feels a little bit different. And with Kevin De Bruyne coming back and doing that to Newcastle, I think a lot of City fans are pretty quietly confident about finally ending the hoodoo at Tottenham.
I think the Kevin De Bruyne one is massive. Like that is big, and that is what sort of like frustrates me, because it's like you've seen the guy hasn't even started a game since he's been back here, and every single game he's come on in, he's basically making an impact. Like he's scoring, he's assisting, like he's such a game changer. And if I look at the league game, like I know we drew the game 3-3, and like we played really well in the second half, and we rightly got back into the game. But I also felt in the first half we could have been down like 3 or 4-1. And I feel like Man City have the quality to do that to us. Like they have the quality to expose our high line. If they beat our press, if you guys beat our press, which I feel like you can do with the players at your disposal, yeah, it could be problematic for us. But I also feel like because of the way we play, we're going to have a go as well. And with both teams sort of trying to push high and trying to commit and pin the other team back, it's going to be an exciting game of football, man. So I wouldn't be shocked at all if Man City came and won this game. Like I know that you guys do have a hoodoo and you've never scored at our ground, but fundamentally, this is Pep Guardiola, this is Man City, Kevin De Bruyne's back. Like I'm under no illusions on how big the task is, but like you said, it's the magic of the FA Cup, in it, and that plus the fact that we somehow managed to get a result at Man City at home with the new manager now behind us. I feel like, yeah, man, it's gonna be exciting. It's gonna be exciting. I'm looking forward to it. And like you said, Friday night kickoff as well. Like some people complaining about that, but I quite like it. I think it's great. A cup
It's all right
weekend.
for you guys in London, but us coming from Manchester, it's a bit of a ball ache. But we're coming in our numbers.
It is.
Coming in our numbers.
On the flip side, if you win, you guys are going to be bouncing. You got the whole of London town to paint red as well. So there you go.
Nah, we are looking forward to it, and there's another problem as well. That you've got Erling Haaland, the Nordic Meat Shield. He's training again. He's training.
You need to stop with this name, man. You need to stop with
telling
this name,
you.
man.
You know where it comes from? That have you seen it? The clip where it comes from, the Meat Shield.
No.
Have you seen have you seen that comedian? I think he's called Troy. He's like a greeter. He stands outside the shops in a smoking jacket and he greets people.
I don't think I've seen it.
I'm going to send you the link. He did it with Sitter, and Haaland walked past him and he went, "You are a tremendous Nordic Meat Shield." And he looks at Haaland just to say, "What the fuck are you saying?" But it's quite funny sort of stuff. But Erling's back. I can see a situation, City starting the game with De Bruyne and Haaland on the bench, and around 70 minutes when we've softened you up a little bit, a double substitution, Erling Haaland, Kevin De Bruyne, about 70 minutes coming on winning the game, man. Some substitutions.
Yeah, I can see it, man. And your bench is definitely going to be stronger than ours, because I do think, even though we have got some players back, we still got some players missing. Obviously Basuma, Sarr, Afcon, Son.
Who should we be worried about? Maddison. It's great signing that for that money as well.
He's back. I don't know if he's gonna. I don't think he's gonna start, but he's another one. So the same way you talk about Kevin De Bruyne and Haaland, who can come off the bench and rightly change the game of football, I think Maddison can come on and change the game for football for Spurs. I don't think he'll start, but I feel like if I had to say players that you should be worried about to begin with, I would say Kulusevski. Because I think he's actually I think he's got a pretty good record in terms of like his goals and assists against Man City. I think he's got a pretty good record against Man City. And I feel like when he plays in that number 10 role, he's a bit different. He's a bit different to like a Maddison. Like obviously Maddison is more like he's got more technical quality. He'll cut you apart of his passing. But I think with Kulusevski, because he's so strong, and because he wants to carry the ball, I feel like he's someone that once he gets motoring, you can't really sort of like derail him. And I do think when he played in that position, in the league game, the 3-3 at your ground, I do think he gave Rodri some problems there. So I think he would be the one to watch in that position if I was a Man City fan. But we got threats, man. I feel like it's a tad worrying that we don't have Son or Kane, which is crazy, because it's like when we have beaten you in the past, it's been because Son or Kane are basically notched, right? We don't have Son or Kane. We're going to have to rely on Richarlison, Werner, and Brennan Johnson. But listen, man, as I said, it's the FA Cup, man. Anything is possible. We came to your ground with Brian Hill starting and somehow got a 3-3 draw. So, yeah, man. we'll see, man. We'll see. We'll see.
I just
Is
feel like
Haaland going to start?
I don't think he's starting. I don't think he's starting. He's not.
I read that he wouldn't even play. So
Well, maybe he's trained in Abu Dhabi. The lads have come back from Dubai today, so he has been training out there. But we've basically John Stones is now back training as well. So whether he gives him a start, I don't know. But we seem to be getting everybody right at the business end of the season. You know what we do. You know this is our time when we need to get a run together. I feel like we need to get a run together. Calvin Phillips has just left on West Ham. I don't know if we're going to bring anyone in. I can't see it. But no, I'm looking forward to it. I don't know if he's going to tinker with the team. I don't know whether he's going to try and use this as a game just to get everybody back in ready for the league. Or, there's a few fringe players like Gomez, Rico Lewis, people like that he could probably put in. But I think we need to win this game. I think it just gets us off the hoodoo off our back. We've got a league game coming up this season as well, still to go at White Hart Lane. We've got 9,000 fans there behind the team. I just feel that we've just got to give it our best shot, you know what I mean? And like I say, I'm quietly confident. But looking at the Spurs team, Timo Werner, surprising signing. Obviously, we know he's got the talent and the pace and that, but he needs to maybe step it up because it's all right having all the talent in the world. He gets in some fantastic positions and misses a lot. And then you've signed the new kid from Genoa with a big ponytail. Don't know what his name is, Dragic or something. Is he going to play maybe?
I don't think he'll start. I think he'll go with Romero and Van de Ven, which is big because we didn't have them in the game at the Etihad, right? So it will be big that we have those two back. So I think he'll go with Romero, Van de Ven to start the game. I don't think you're going to see the back four change. I think you'll see this Vicario, he'll stay in goal. I don't think Forster will play. I think the midfield is where you're going to see some change. I feel like it'll be Bentancur, probably Bentancur, Skip, and Kulusevski. I reckon that's the midfield he'll go with. And then it'll be that attack that you mentioned. Me personally, I want to see more from him. I want to see something from Werner. I want to see Richarlison continue scoring, but I want to see more from Brennan Johnson, because I feel like I don't think he's been bad for Spurs. But I do think against Man United, he was awful. And I think that was probably his worst game in a Spurs shirt. And I do think he has had some games where he's just not really been effective at all. He's actually played quite poor. And I feel like we invested quite a lot of money into him, and he's young, isn't it? So you expect that he's going to take time to sort of grow into a position that suits him in this team. And obviously, I feel like when the likes of Maddison and certain other players come back into the team, they'll be able to amplify his performances as well, right? But I do think we need to see more from the likes of him, the likes of Werner, the likes of Richarlison, whilst Son is injured or Son is off on international duty, because these are the guys we're going to need to step up, not just against Man City, but for the rest of the season, if we want to actually maintain the hopes of getting back into the top four and winning the competition. But more off Spurs, I'm looking at Man City now, and I know you mentioned Kevin De Bruyne and Haaland, but if I'm looking at players that are in red hot form that I'm worried about, I'm looking at Phil Foden and I'm looking at Bernardo Silva, because I feel like Phil Foden is one who I didn't think he was playing to his best. I felt like Phil Foden, he's a bit relative to his level. I felt like he was inconsistent in early parts of the season. Sometimes he had good games. Sometimes, even the game against us at your ground, he scored a really good goal, but I felt like he didn't have that consistent in-game threat that he should have. But I feel like the last month or so, the performances have just gone up a notch, man. He's not just scoring, but he's literally fundamental to everything good that Man City are doing. And I feel like a red-hot Phil Foden and a red-hot Bernardo Silva is problematic for Spurs, because these are guys who can beat the press, they can find the right passes, and they can score. They can score really good goals as well. So I'm worried about those two personally. I'm really worried about those.
The thing is with Phil, I don't think City fans knew, I don't think he knew and Pep knew which his best position was. 1 minute he'd start wide out on the right, he's played on the left, he's played in the middle, he's played in a false nine. He never really, I don't think Pep trusted him 100% to play in that central role. But recently he's been playing so well in there. I think Pep's giving him more time. I think he's relishing it. And Bernardo Silva, honestly, watching him for the last 4 or 5 years, I've just, honestly, so good, mate. He can play anywhere. He can even play at fucking fullback. You know what I mean? He can just literally float around the pitch. Newcastle never had an answer for him the other night. He became free. He was picking the ball up in the pockets. They didn't know who was supposed to mark him. And he's a nightmare. And like you say, he's bundles of energy. But Rodri as well. Rodri, the key man. I mean, Rodri's improved so much. And I look at him and think nobody can do that Rodri job. You know, it's all right, City fans saying we need someone to replace Rodri. There's a reason why we've played 50 games with Rodri and never lost, and we played 4 without him and lost all 4 because he's that important to us. You know what I mean? And then we look at Alvarez. He's playing in the false 9, whatever. When Erling's been away, it's been working. Jack Grealish. Obviously, we know his game's changed a lot at Manchester City now. We know he's not that Jack Grealish at Villa. He's different, more disciplined than that. So our problem this season has been a bit with the back 4 as well. He's bought Guardiola, who's going to be obviously a centre-back, but he's playing him at left-back. Yeah. Ruben Diaz, last few games, looks like he's been exposed a bit. Kyle Walker's been shagging everyone in the world and having kids with everyone.
Yeah,
so he's fucked. So, yeah, we just need to wake up at the back. Kyle needs to sort his head out a little bit, you know what I mean? I know he's got loads of Pampers and that to pay for, but I don't think he'd be worried about it. He's got enough dough. Yeah, Ruben Diaz, he's got rid of his Love Island bird. So he's back in the game. Yeah, man, they've all been active, man.
He dropped her at the airport to go on Love Island.
Yeah, they've won the treble. He's won the treble. Kyle's knocking out bin lids. Ruben's just fucking living his best life. Guardiola doesn't know what day it is, whether he's left back or centre back. Nathan Ake is just living the dream. So we just need to forget all the nonsense, get our head on it, and keep going. But listen, Toby, from a City point of view, what this team's achieved in the last few years, and the fact that they're still going at the top level, the fact that they're still going for titles, they've not had a drop off, is fucking insane, man. You know what I mean? It's a testament to Pep Guardiola, the way he's kept them motivated. We've lost players like Gundogan, Mahrez, Raheem Sterling, Jesus, Zinchenko, Laporte, and he's still kept the team up there. There's never been that drop off, you know what I mean? But just going to the Premier League now and the title race, do you think City will win that title, or do you think Liverpool might just pip it this year?
I still think City are going to win it, you know. I really do. Like, don't get me wrong. I think Liverpool are surprising me with each game that goes by in terms of their resilience. And I do think, and I was saying this to Grizz on the last Big Six show, I do think in the last like 4 or 5 games I've watched, there's a lot more legitimacy to their position in the table, because I do think when I did watch Liverpool earlier on in the season, yeah, they were winning games and they were managing to avoid defeats, but they didn't really have end-to-end control of matches, and I felt like teams were still able to sort of break on them and create dangerous opportunities that on another day could have resulted in Liverpool losing those games of football. But I'm seeing, as of late, obviously they got Konate and Van Dijk playing together regularly now. The attack are starting to finally score goals again in the when after a period of them basically not scoring for a number of matches, the likes of Diaz, Nunez, Jota, like they're finally starting to score. But I still think fundamentally Man City just have the best balance between Arsenal and Man City. So I think Man City still have a potent enough attack to score a similar amount of goals to Liverpool. But I also feel like they have a stable enough midfield in the defense, like Arsenal, where they can still shut teams out. When they're at their best, they can still shut teams out and they can still keep the ball and control large parts of a game of football. So that's why I still think Man City are going to win it. And I feel like the biggest piece of evidence for that was that Newcastle game, because that Newcastle game away from home, the first, I think before Isak scored his goal, I don't think I've seen a team play as well as Man City played this season in that game in the first half. It was literally like, it was just like 100% domination. Newcastle couldn't get out. Like, it was just suffocation after suffocation.
And we were 2-1 down. 2-1 down.
Exactly. It was crazy. And that's just the Premier League for you. Like Man City, that was like the best 30 minutes I've seen from Man City in the Prem all season. And then all of a sudden they're 2-1 down. But to come back into that 2-2, once the second goal went in from Kevin De Bruyne, you just knew, come on, like there's only one team that's going to win this now. It was just one team applying all the pressure. And I feel like not just games like that, but games like Everton as well, coming back from a goal down and winning that 3-1. I feel like the resiliency is starting to show with Man City, Like, what you alluded to, where it's like Man City, there'll be a point in the season where like the switch will be flicked and bang, it's just result after result after result. So I feel like now it's 2024. Liverpool are in that mode to a certain extent, but I also think Man City are in that mode now where it's like it's basically dog eat dog, and it's gonna be like who can pip who. And I just think when it comes down to it in May, I feel like Man City just have the edge. I feel like they have the edge in terms of the personnel and in terms of the balance, in terms of attacking and defending. I think they have that edge over both Arsenal and Liverpool. So I'll still say Man City will win it.
Well, mate, I hope you're right. Last of all, predictions. Go for it. Come on, Friday night under the lights. Tottenham. What are you saying?
Okay. Fuck it. I'm gonna go 3-2 Spurs. I think it's gonna be a high-scoring game. We're definitely not gonna keep a clean sheet. I can see Man City. I can probably see Man City taking the lead, to be honest. But yeah, I feel like we're gonna win this game 3-2. Fuck it. Let's go, man. FA Cup.
I've got 2-0 in my head. I don't know why. I've got 2-0 in my head. I just feel a little bit confident this week. But I am looking forward to it, man.
Who's going to score?
Who's going to score? I think he starts Doku, and I think Doku will score, and it'll be 1-0. And I think late on, the ginger fella might come off the bench and ping another one in. And you won't like to see 9,000 City fans doing the Poznan.
You know what? Yeah, I don't want to see that. And there's only one chant I wouldn't mind seeing. It's the Oscar Bob one. The Oscar Bob.
Yeah. No, you're definitely going to be hearing Champions of Europe. You'll never sing that. Yeah, because we are giving that to every bastard that's given us that over the last 10 years. And have you ever seen Tottenham win the league? That one will be coming out. There was a Tottenham fan last year. I was right on the end of the row next to the away fans, and he was shouting me, Big Steve, Big Steve. And I looked, and he had his phone with the Champions League trophy on it, and he went, "You'll never win this, Steve." And I was like, "Mate, you don't win nothing. How are you telling me I'm not going to win the European Cup?" But it was all banter. I'm looking forward to it, mate. We're going to link up after the game and do a post-match with yourself. I appreciate you coming on. I've been a bit lazy the last few weeks, but I appreciate you coming on. Where can they find you, mate? Where can they find you?
Yeah, to be fair, I've been lazy as well, to be fair. But yeah, find me on Tapping Tobes on all socials, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. Like Steve said, we're going to be doing a post-match, win, lose, or draw after the game. That's the one thing I want to say as well. I don't want to replay. Because I feel like if we get a replay where the players are missing, it gets sticky if we have to go back to the Etihad. So I don't want to replay. So yeah, find me across all socials, Tapping Tobes, one word. Thanks for having me on.
Listen, people, please like, share, subscribe, go in the Manchester City groups you're in on Facebook, drop the video link in there, let people have a little watch. 28 minutes long. Come on, City, that's all I'm going to say. 9,000 Blues, get to Spurs Friday, sing our hearts out. And like Toby said, let's make sure we're singing Ole, 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 Oscar, Bob, 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 Oscar, Bob, Bob, Bob. Peace out, people. Thank you.